Does anybody know what this is?
Rock.
It's a rock, right? It's a big rock. Ooh, it's a heavy rock. Does anybody know what this is?
That's an egg.
That's an egg. And let me tell you a secret about this egg. This egg looks like a very strong thing. It does. I mean, you cannot tell that it is weak just by looking at it. And so in all reality, if you never had any experiences with an egg, and you look at a rock and you look at an egg, you might come to the conclusion that both are strong. But when you discover that it is not strong, is when something happens. Before if you take a hammer and you hit that rock, you know what happens?
Nothing.
Nothing. Like, and you can hit it, you can hit it hard, and the rock is unchanged. But you can come over here to this egg, you can come to this egg, and how many of y'all think it's going to survive? Let's just say it's a really strong egg. You know, it's got good genetics, it comes from a good chicken. I mean, let's see here, let's see if it, okay, so if you notice, we've got just barely a crack in it, okay? So that's one blow to it. The rock has not cracked. And then you give it another, and here's what happens. It's completely gone. It's completely gone. And a lot of times, as we go throughout our life, we think that it's important for God to rescue us from everything that bad that happens in our life. And a lot of the times, we feel like our life is like this rock. We feel like that it is impenetrable, that it's strong, that it is safe from danger, it is safe from being affected, that it is something that can withstand danger. And then what happens is, all of a sudden, something out of the blue comes along and then knocks at our door. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves in a changed situation. And instead of being all intact and safe and having peace and joy and happiness, this is what our life looks like. And we've experienced heartache, we've experienced the consequences of our own decisions, we've experienced unforeseen circumstances. And you and I both know this week has been an unforeseen circumstance. If you would have told people like, hey, there's not going to be any toilet paper at the store 6 months ago, if you would have said, hey, in March, there's not going to be any toilet paper, you know what they would have said?
You're crazy.
They would have said, you are crazy. You are crazy. And so the key is that we in life have to figure out how to handle the difficult situations that come our way. Because what we have to realize is that we're never going to get rid of them. We're never going to get rid of them. So the only solution is we have to find something that is strong, that can help us withstand the blows that the world gives us. And oftentimes during this time, you have two different kinds of people. You have fearless people, and then you have people who are doing this thing called freaking out. Did you see? I bet you saw somebody freaked out this week, right? Like they was on the TV. They was like fighting to the death for some toilet paper. That's the reality. So why do people freak out, and why do you and me freak out? we freak out when we get a blow to our lives and our lives become like this. And it's a valid reason to freak out. So what you and I have to do is we have to find something that can help us withstand the heartache and the suffering and the pain and the difficult situations in this life. And it is a greater blessing to have with us someone, something that can help us survive than something that is okay when everything's okay, but not safe when everything's not safe. And so if you look with me in Matthew chapter 8, verse 23 through 27, we're going to find out how can you and I be fearless when everyone else is freaking out. So in Matthew chapter 8, verse 23, it says this: As he got into the boat, his disciples followed him. Suddenly, a violent storm arose on the sea, so that the boat was being swamped by the waves. But Jesus kept sleeping. So the disciples came and woke him up, saying, Lord, save us. We're going to die. He said to them, Why are you afraid? You have little faith. Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. The men were amazed and asked, What kind of man is this? Even the winds and the sea obey him. Now, as we look at these verses here, we find a very rare occurrence, because out of all the miracles that Jesus did, a lot of them dealt with sick people. They dealt with people who were paralyzed, people who were blind, people who were deaf. But this sort of miracle is very special, because nobody in this natural world can try to persuade the weather to act like they want it to act. I mean, you might can fake some kind of physical healing, but you can't fake the weather changing at your command. And so, interestingly enough, the verses before verse 23 speaks about Jesus telling these people about what it means to follow Jesus. And he explains to his disciples and all these people who want to follow him that if you want to follow me, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. It's going to be something that is going to try you. But you will be okay because you're with me. And so we find here in verses 23 through 27 the difference between theory, thinking, and application. Because in the verses before, Jesus told them how hard it was. And now in verses 23 through 27, they're going to be out in the boat in the middle of the Sea of Galilee in this storm that's filled this boat full of water with Jesus. And so now they have to transform from just agreeing and saying, oh, I know it's going to be hard and I'm with you, Lord, to you're in the middle of the Sea of Galilee in a boat that's about to fill up with water and you feel like you're going to die. And so we find that this is the difference, that they're discovering what it really means to follow Jesus. And the thing about it is, it's really a mystery why Jesus is the way he is sometimes. Because if we had some of these qualities of Jesus, we would